Here we have an alignment with several curves on it. We're going to take a look at this curve here in the middle, specifically the PT here. And when we look at the station based on the annotation label that's placed there, we'll see the PT is at 212 plus 00.00. And if we review the alignment information or with civil analysis and analyze point, and we select the alignment and snap to the tangent, we'll see that the station is also 212 plus 00.00. Additionally, if we were to go ahead and review the horizontal geometry report, and in our browser here, we scroll down to the PT, we'll see it's at 212 plus 00.00. But I actually know that this station is 212 plus 00.003294. And I can review that here in this report browser by changing the format options of my station to 6 or 7 or some other increased level of accuracy here, precision. So I'll change it to 6 decimal places for this example. And my browser is refreshed, and I'll see that the PT is 212 plus 00.003294. So that only changes the readout of this browser or our report browser. It doesn't make any changes in our design file. So I'll show how to change that here in a second, but I wanted to point out how or why this may cause an issue for some users. And what we want to do is construct a point that is at this PT, which would end up being a perpendicular offset or 90-degree offset, 90 degrees from the tangent here, the centerline tangent. So if I go to geometry and I want to place a point and I toggle on my civil AccuDraw, I first need to go ahead and set my reference element here. So I'm going to tab to the offset field, seems to work best. When I press O on my keyboard, I'll be prompted then in the ODOT workspace, we have it set up where A will set your microstation AccuDraw origin, or C will select or use the civil AccuDraw set origin. So I can select A or C on my keyboard, or I can just pick one from the menu. So I'll select C. I'll select on my reference element or my center line. So now you'll see our tracking is moving along with the reference element or the center line we selected. So I'll key in 212 plus 00.00. Then I'll tab to lock that in, and then I'll enter in my offset of 125 feet. Then I'll data point to go ahead and place that. And just as a quick way to review this, I'm just going to place another line between 2 points, and I'll snap to the PT or the tangent, the end of that tangent line, and then I'll snap to the origin of the cell or the point that we placed here. And if we review the rules of this geometry or this line that we just placed, we'll notice that this bearing is not 90 degrees from the bearing of the centerline tangent. So that could cause you problems if you're trying to be very precise, for example, creating parcels or laying out right-of-way elements. And that few second difference there will compound over a greater distance, as I'm sure you're aware. So let's take a look at how to increase that accuracy, or how we can take a look at placing this better. So if we go to the File tab and we go to Settings, and we're going to look at our file settings here and under Design File Settings. And we have the civil formatting section where we can control coordinate readout. For example, if we wanted to increase the coordinate readout, we could. And we also have the station precision here that I'm going to go ahead and increase to 6 decimal places for this example. There is no civil formatting option for the manipulator readout that shows the bearing on the civil geometry in this civil formatting option. That's actually taking from the design file angle readout. So here I'll just show how to change that to 2 decimal places here. And these are design file settings. So if you're doing something like this very often, you're going to need to change this in each file that you're working in. And if you do it more often or want that increased precision to always be set, you could change that or consider changing that in your project seed file as well. So I'll return back to my file here, and I'll go ahead and repeat that same workflow, and I'll turn on my AccuDraw. I'm going to place another point here, and we'll see that I have that increased precision readout on my civil AccuDraw prompt, but I don't want to key that in. No one really wants to key in that long station value. So the the tip that we're trying to show here is that if I hover my cursor over and I let AccuSnap snap to the end of that line, you'll see that there's that station value I looked at in my report. And if I use the Enter key, I haven't accepted any point here. I just let AccuSnap jump to the end of the line there. So if I just press Enter on my keyboard, that will lock in that station value, and I don't need to key that in. Then I can key in my offset that I wanted and place my point. And then I'll repeat the process for placing that line between there. And again, when I review the rules to this line, now we'll see that the bearing of this line that I placed is actually exactly 90 degrees from the bearing of my centerline tangent. So I also want to just point out that we don't need to actually change the accuracy for that to work, to snap it in. So let me delete these two elements. I'm going to go back to my civil formatting. And I'm going to go back and I'm going to change the accuracy or the precision of my station back to 2 decimal places. And then I'll repeat the same process here, placing this point. And I just want to show that by doing the same thing, letting this snap here, and pressing Enter to lock that in, keying in my offset value. When I place the same line now, I still get that enhanced precision, and my line is actually at exactly perpendicular to the centerline tangent there. So you don't necessarily need to change that in order to have the AccuDraw take the exact value. So it will take that increased precision when you snap to the element, and no need to increase that if you don't want to. So we can also use that same type of command within a profile view. For example, if I wanted to, in this example, we're going to try or I want to show, or I want to find the exact crossing of this overhead electric line in my profile view. So I'm going to activate my profile, just make sure I'm in the right spot, and I'm going to place a line here, and I want to place that in my profile view, but I want to place it, and I want to have my begin station start at this intersection here. So I'll set my snap, my intersection snap, and I'll let it snap to the intersection at that point, and then I'll press Enter, and that'll lock that station value in, and I can come back down to my profile view and just data point to begin placing my line. And if I wanted that to be straight up and down, I could repeat that process and set my intersection snap again, lock in that station by pressing Enter, come back to my profile view, and here I have a vertical line that exactly is at the intersection of my center line and this overhead electric line. So you could use that for a lot of different scenarios, just to locate where something is in your profile view as you're working on your design. Hopefully that helps. Just remember to use the Enter key when you let the AccuSnap snap to that, and then press Enter, and within Civil AccuDraw, and that'll lock in your station value.